Starting classical ballet as an adult is really exciting and really inspiring. Classical ballet can transform your life. It is a rich and beautiful and demanding and extremely athletic art form. So it's important to make sure that you are off to the right start. Here are a few things that I would never do as a beginner ballet student. Number one, I wouldn't take just any beginner ballet class. Even if it had stellar reviews online and all my friends were saying this is the best class ever, I would still need to research for myself. So I would go about and kind of line up a few classes at a few studios that I think might work, and then I would ask to observe class. Usually studios are okay with this. You can observe for at least a few minutes free of charge. Sometimes they ask you to purchase the class in order to be able to observe it. Whatever the policy is, I would make sure that I observed class before I ever took it. Observing class will answer many questions for you that cannot be answered on the studio's website or even on their YouTube channel or anything like that. You'll get to see the vibe of the studio, you'll get to feel the energy in the class, you'll get to see the teacher in action. You'll get to see whether their teaching style resonates with you and inspires you, and see the other people in class. You can talk to them. It can really kind of flesh out what taking this class would feel like and whether that speaks to you. Now, what to look for in a beginner ballet class is a separate topic, but I can offer a few quick tips here. So in a beginner ballet class, it's very important that the teacher is demonstrating all of the steps and combos full out. Dance is visual, so as a beginner, you need to see what these steps look like and how they're done. The teacher should be able to do these steps full out and break them down for you and explain in very clear, simple language how one goes about doing these steps, and also offer feedback at the same time. The feedback could be offered collectively to the whole group, or it could be offered individually. Usually it's a combination of offering feedback for the whole group and also some individual feedback. So that's really important. The other thing that's important about a beginner ballet class is to make sure that the tempo is not fast. Beginner ballet should be a slow-paced class so that you can learn safely and correctly. Okay, moving on to number two. The second thing I would never do as an adult beginner ballet student is spend a whole bunch of money on expensive dancewear and dance supplies. I would rather spend that money on private lessons with a teacher I love, because private lessons are very valuable. Expensive dancewear is not at all necessary. What you can invest in is a few basic leotards and a good pair of ballet slippers. Aside from that, you can take class in leggings and a t-shirt or a tank top, or even shorts in the summer when it's hot. If you want to have a few ballet skirts, you can certainly find some on sale. If you're really petite like I am, you can even fit into children's sizes, like a children's large. So you don't need to spend all this money on expensive dancewear, unless being an expensive dancewear inspires you and makes you dance better, or makes you feel more confident or more beautiful. You know, unless that's the case, you don't need to be spending all this money on all of this gear. However, you do want to make sure that whatever you're wearing to class enables the teacher to see your alignment. Okay, so you don't want to wear clothing that's overly baggy and overly loose and the teacher has no idea if your alignment is correct or not. You also want to make sure that the teacher can see your feet and your ankles. Those are very important in classical ballet. Okay, so you don't want to wear like loose yoga pants or flare pants where the teacher can't see your ankles and your feet. But aside from that, you can choose what you feel most comfortable in. The third thing I would never do as a beginner ballet student is walk into ballet class with no knowledge of its history. Classical ballet is such a singular and unique art form, and it has deep historical roots. There's a reason why ballet class is the way that it is. There's a reason why all of the terminology is in French, for example. There's a reason why we stand turned out, and why we embody this sort of nobility in classical ballet class. There's a reason for all of that. So I would spend a few minutes reading up on the history of classical ballet so that when I walk into ballet class, I have an understanding of this rich and beautiful world of ballet and why it is the way it is. And then I think the last thing I would never do as an adult beginner ballet student is walk into ballet class with no mental preparation. I especially would not walk into ballet class with a whole bunch of negative, self-limiting beliefs. Like, oh, I'm not the right age for this, or I don't have the right body type for this, or, I could never dance like she is. Things like that are just really negative and depressing. You don't need that. You need to let that go at the door. And you need to embody a mindset that is inspiring, empowering, and that helps you focus and that clears the way for your potential to come through. This is really important, not just when you're a beginner, but at any stage in your training. Unfortunately, you can't always rely on the ballet teacher to help you with this. It's not standard or customary in classical ballet for any type of mental training or mental awareness to be talked about or any kind of exercises in that domain to be done. You're kind of on your own with what's going on in your mind, what's going on with your emotions. In my classes, I incorporate as much mental training as I can because I think it is so important. But again, it's not customary and it's not standard in your typical walk-in classical ballet class. So you've got to take responsibility for that. What kinds of thoughts do you want to think? What kinds of beliefs do you want to have about yourself? It's important to define that for yourself. What is your intention in taking ballet class? What kind of a dancer do you want to be? What is your goal? What is your vision? What is your dream for yourself within this art form? Only you can define that for yourself. And it can make a big difference in your training. On that note, if you're interested in this topic, I would recommend reading up on sports psychology and reading up on the mind-body connection, because you don't want to neglect this miraculous, mysterious, and powerful part of your being and part of you as a dancer, which is your mind, the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold about yourself, and the emotions that you have. So take care in this regard. Start off right, start off strong and inspired. I hope this helps you. Happy dancing. Bye.